So we can
Can
hear
you
you.
all hear?
Yes, we can hear you fine. We can hear you okay.
I'm just gonna keep dancing. Apparently, you all can hear me,
Yes, we can hear
but I
you.
can't hear. Or
You
I can see you. It's a party all by myself.
oh, oh my goodness. Now we had said we were going to do it right go here because it looks better that way. So everybody, welcome to the link. We are missing two of our fabulous ladies tonight. But Leslie had let us know that with being mommy Leslie too, with a little one, little titty one, there are times she wouldn't be able to make it, and Kay has been held up with clients, so we haven't. Hopefully, she will be popping in later. But hey, it's life. And as ladies, when we have organizations that we run, stuff just happens sometimes that we're not expecting, and it just does what it does. So we are here. This is the wonderful thing about having a few people. We never end up being empty. We never end up being empty. And you still can't hear a word, right? So here's what I suggest that you do, which may give you a little bit of feedback, but you can at least possibly put it into your ear, is if you go on LinkedIn, and then you will be able to hear, although it's going to be delayed though. That's not the best idea. It's going to be delayed. It's going to be delayed if you do that. Yeah, it's going to be a wee bit delayed. So you'll get like several seconds worth of delay. So that's not going to be the greatest. But welcome to everybody. Welcome to the link. And you have here tonight, you have me, your agile lady, as a host. You have Stephanie Wall, as we have speaker Stephanie. And we have our best ever, the mind supreme, our neurologist researcher, Dr. Adrian. Here she is. So we are here all together tonight. And our topic that we were supposed to be discussing today was about the idea of self-love, because we noticed last week that we did a lot of we only or we just have, and we went through all of that. And we thought, well, today let's talk about really kind of one, believing in ourselves, um, and understanding that we are worth it, right? That we don't have to diminish ourselves. Yet it's something that we do very easily. So as women, it's easier for us to diminish ourselves than to lift ourselves up.
I,
And
I
say
think
fabulous things about ourselves. Go ahead.
I think we started last week that conversation when we were introducing ourselves. And at some point, our lovely Stephanie was not Stephanie. I'm sorry. Leslie was talking about participating on the Ironman, and we were like, "Oh, that's so amazing!" And then she goes, "Oh, but it was just the half." Why do you have to say that it's just half? It's the Ironman. Period. You don't need to make it smaller. You don't need to make it tiny so it fits. And actually, I watched yesterday. I was watching. There's a new version of the Oprah interviews that is running on Apple TV now, and she was interviewing Matthew Mcconaughey, which I was very curious about him. I always thought of him as a person who's a little hyped and stuff like that, but also came to realize he's an extremely smart person. And one of the things that he was talking about was raising children as an affluent person, and to teach them to be kind, teach them to be nice, teach them to be that the amount of money that they have is not what gives them value, but don't feel ashamed of saying that you have money. If somebody says to you, "Oh, you must have an awesome house." Yeah, it's a really nice house. It is. It's there. It exists. You don't have to make it smaller. You don't have to look all ashamed because somebody called you on the beautiful things you have and the beautiful life that you have constructed. Just let it be out there. Don't be a butthead about it, but just let it show, and don't be ashamed of who you are and all the things that have been given to you or that you have built yourself. So I think that went very well with the theme that we're talking about of self-love, because socially We are told to make sure to diminish our accomplishments or what we are, because there will be some sort of punishment if you are a bragger. But it's a completely different thing. It's one thing to be a bragger, and it's another to be a person who's conscious about themselves. Kay is here. Hi, Kay.
I don't think you can hear us yet.
Yes. So yeah, I guess that's my first entry. Hi, Kay.
Hey everyone. I was sitting backstage.
You are delayed.
You are frozen.
You're frozen.
You're frozen.
frozen.
This is the day of, you know what? Let's dance it or not, because I got them here.
This is one of those
And I
days.
had no
One of those days
sound.
where
I couldn't hear them.
technology
They
is
can
not
hear me.
collaborating, and we're like, well, make it
Okay, I'm
work.
going to remove you and pop you back in and see if that makes a difference. Let's see if that makes a difference now. And that unfreezes you. This is fabulous.
Did you get Leslie? Leslie's here.
So we did. Oh, yes, she is.
Oh
Yay,
Yay, we're all here.
You made it.
We are here.
Let's see if we got her back. No.
Happy
she's-
dance. Happy
sister-
dance.
Happy dance. Oh my gosh.
It's-
I was on here. It was like,
There we go.
oh, they can hear each
Am I
other.
ready?
but
Am
not
I
me.
ready?
All right. We can see you live in a living color.
You guys, I was listening to you on Facebook and I'm like, I can't get in. I want to talk about money too.
I looked over the chat and I said, Leslie said, I'm here.
I finally made it.
Oh, well, Leslie,
Oh, well,
we're
it
on
is
time together.
Baby, this is what we call real life, folks. Seeing real life stuff happen.
It happens.
Just roll with it.
It does. It does. We need to have us some music that we can clue into, right? That we can like play when we have one of these kinds of moments where these things happen. We can do that. But it goes again to prove that one, when women come together, right, and they come together and link, so then there isn't the competition and there isn't the competing. There is the sisterhood. There is patience, there is acceptance, and there is kindness, and there is grace. That is always in the midst when women link. So again, we have demonstrated what the show is all about, right? That sense of sisterhood and us coming together. That is the beauty. That is us as women. I think that's awesome.
I'm getting chills as you say that. And for some reason, this thing popped into my mind. I used to dance when I was younger. And I remember hearing one of the people that work backstage saying, don't worry if you make a mistake. People come to live theater because there's the chance that could happen and we'll all survive it together. And that just stuck with me. Like, nobody's waiting for us to be perfect. Like, that's not actually that interesting.
We wait for ourselves to be perfect. So sometimes that's why we don't take action, or we criticize the amazing outcome that happens from taking a step. So sometimes it's just us, and we're all going to work on letting that go, right?
Together, we're going to work on letting that go together. Because literally, I have got now a much better streaming machine, right? I've got a Mac Mini, which is just like powerful. It's been brilliant with doing my work on and stuff. But a Mac Mini doesn't come with a camera. So I have been having to play with stuff and get things out. And finally, my techie son showed up, which is the one that you saw in the background, right? With his smelly dog. He's like, Mom, I shampooed the dog today and I sprayed it down with dog lavender. I said, well, she's still just
Dog
lavender. Yeah, I'm not smelling the lavender at all. The lavender's not there. I don't know where it went. It's not there. But he set me up now. So now I'll be able, our next stuff, to do it from the machine the way it was supposed to be intended. And it looks really, he's got the lighting and the whole nine stuff set up really nice over there. So it worked really well. So next time I won't have to worry about this. But I thank you, Mac, for being good and sturdy, MacBook Pro, and being able to help me. I appreciate you.
I'm appreciating that she's talking to that MacBook Pro. I mean, just loving it. I mean, loving it. Understand?
But let me tell you
Let me
something.
go ahead and talk to this computer. I just love you.
Thank you for
Let me
giving
tell you
everything that I
something about
need.
technology.
Right.
You need to tell technology that you appreciate it, because otherwise it will turn on you.
Oh,
Kind of on the Terminator
hello.
thing, it turns on you. I keep having this conversation with my mom, because my mom has what I consider to be the older person thing of, oh, I don't know about tech, I don't understand tech, I don't know how to do it. And she will have a phone, and then a new phone, and then a new phone, and every time it's like the phone doesn't work, and it's like good. I think she uses like Samsung phones or something that is supposed to be good. It's not the cheapest thing on the rack. It's like a good enough thing, and it just keeps not working. I say, you know why? Because you keep telling them that they don't work. You just start trusting the same thing, the same way that you do with people. I swear you have to do the same thing with technology. I was having trouble with my own phone too, and I was not feeling that it was time to change it. And I started saying, you know what? I love you. You're awesome. And it stopped. It stopped glitching. It stopped doing the things. And I love you so much. Yes, I'm talking about you.
Yes.
Yes, you're great, and I love you.
This is a whole nother level of mindset, because y'all wasn't ready for this one. You didn't know about the technology mindset.
It works. It's crazy, but it works.
I will
Go ahead.
vouch for the other side. I one time was like, I'm over this phone, and I really wish I had a new phone. I went to sleep. My husband came in. I was dead out. The phone was just glowing blue. It had just died after I said that about it. It's like, oh yeah?
Yeah.
I'm gonna need y'all, don't be manifesting the phone dying.
Yeah, that's why you have to treat it well.
What's the 4 agreements? Be impeccable with your words.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Technology
It
included.
really works.
So I just gotta
What would we
share.
do without it? I mean, when you really think about what tech has afforded us the privilege to do, when everything went crazy, tech allowed us to still be able to have an income, because we could still communicate with people, right? And we could still work. Tech has allowed us to stay in touch with our families, right? Tech allows us to find new ideas, to do our research. I have no idea what my life would be like.
Let me ask you something. Now, since today, our theme for today is self-love, what do you think tech has done for your self-love? Either for it or against it, or have you turned it around if you felt that it was going against you?
Interesting.
What has it done
For
for
myself?
I think that one of the big downfalls has been social media, because it allows everyone to put up these perfect pictures of a perfect life, and everyone else so we're all constantly comparing ourselves, and and then that was something that I actually had to get rid of. I have my social media, especially Facebook, because since I have so many friends in other countries, it's a way to make sure, like, if people change their phones or something, you can still locate them.
Yes.
But I did the unfollow so they don't show up on my feed, because whatever it is, it becomes too much. It becomes too much information, either good or bad or whatever, and it will affect my moods very much. So I decided I really don't need this amount of gossip going on constantly, almost like whispering on my ear. So that was the part where tech was not very good for me. But on the other hand, it's allowed me things like this, places where I can connect on specific things in a way that is different than what I had done before, for reasons that are different than other reasons that I had before to have interactions with people. And yet it's been fantastic. It's been great to find company and support and community. So that's sort of my view on how technology could take you down, but it can also help you build if you use it for you instead of allowing it to grow against you. And I think you need to be very careful about it.
Right. You know, I I think one that I agree with what you're saying, and particularly the concept of just it can be too much, right? I think one of the worst things for everyone, but particularly for women, I think, is the ability, everybody can Photoshop and change everything. So now it's like, folks, I mean, listen, you can put like right now, like people can put eyelashes on. So when they click on their social media, I'm sorry, when they click on their Zoom, there's already lipstick on and eyelashes and stuff.
Yep.
Now listen, people, let's talk about one day people have to see you, the real you. And if if the lips are not already luscious like that, and if you have lashes and you don't really wear them, they're going to see the real you. So let them see you. I think it's something to be said. I will tell you that I think for technology, for all the things that Lizzy said, like how it connects you. Well, as a speaker, you know how once upon a time you want to be global, you had to go over there. Now we're all on the global stage. If you talk, you're global. You're a global speaker because you're speaking globally. So I think that. I also think that all the reasons that you can connect and you can find your tribe easier, because if it was just that little circle, like the folks you go outside or you go to work or wherever you go, and they may not be the people, your specific tribe, those people that think that the ones that make you feel like you're going to thrive, you want to live, they may not live in your actual physical space, but you will certainly find them on, I like to call the WWW, right? You can find them. But the downside, in addition to changing the way you look, I don't like that at all. I think the downside is it's almost too much access. I mean, you have
invasive.
It's on you to shut that access down. Where once upon a time, once upon a time, there was no cell phones.
There wasn't.
Right? And then
you're telling your age, Stephanie.
Say it again. Once upon a time, you had to go find a payphone. You know,
yes, you would have to go to the red telephone box at the bottom of the street.
I'll tell you something.
Who box? Yes, I'm telling you.
And now people call you. I mean, I literally have friends that say, "I called you, like, and you didn't answer." And I'm like, "Well," now because I am intentional about putting my phone away I had to learn this. I had to learn it to shut that down. I have 2 phones, right? Put the phones over there. Don't bring them in your bedroom because you'll never get any sleep. It's right. Just to plug it up over there. Leave it downstairs. You get to get up to come to it. I called you. And I'm like, what? I didn't hear the house phone ring. See, I still have a house phone, landline. See, when the world crashes, I'm still gonna be able to use the phone. The rest of y'all be talking, my phone ain't working. Listen, I need a regular phone that you can just plug into the wall. And I'm like, I didn't hear the house phone. Well, I text you. I'm not looking at my phone 24/7.
Well,
So that accessibility, I think that's too much.
I'll give you 2 points. I'll give you a counter to the part about the filters first, which funny enough has been great for me because culturally, I'm Latina. I won't be caught without makeup. Ever.
Latina,
I go to the gym, whatever. I wear makeup all the time. And then one of the things that it does for me that I really like, and it helps with my self-love, coming back to self-love, is that I used to have this very unpleasant, like I will not allow people to take pictures of me ever. When it used to be a camera that you had to develop a picture and everything, I will hide in the back because I will not like how I looked. So, and I will have this idea that I was not pretty because the pictures were not great, were not good, or down ugly because, we used to take the picture and you could not see it on a little screen or anything. It was like until it got developed, you had no idea what was in that, in that film. So now I see that, for example, I was doing this challenge, this personal growth challenge, and we needed to upload some pictures, some selfies, and stuff like that. And I don't feel comfortable taking pictures of me without makeup and not feeling. But now I put a very soft filter, and it just makes me feel better. And when I feel better, I feel pretty. I feel pretty, oh so pretty, and I love feeling pretty. And it makes me more outgoing. It makes me express myself easier because I'm not concerned about how I'm looking. And it really, I think it makes me feel at my best. So that's what I have to say about filters, is that it makes me, because I know how I look in person and I'm very comfortable with that. But I really don't like my appearance screens that are so dependent on lights and stuff like that. So it helps me get over that part, especially now that we do so much of this. And the other part is, what was the other thing you were talking about? The
access. I think it was access. People have access.
Yes.
Unlimited access.
Access. Yeah. Yeah. I think I have, for those, I have the silence calls. So that's a new great thing, that your phone doesn't go through if you don't know the contact. And otherwise, yeah, I just put it away. I put a do not disturb on my phone. I keep on, I gotta say, I'm incredibly apprehensive. So I keep on the couple of numbers that you can have go through. My son and my mother, they can come through at any time. Doesn't matter, even if there's a do not disturb on. Otherwise, everybody has to wait until the next day, because people are checking Instagram at 2 a.m. and sending messages on Instagram, you know, and it can be the cutest cat, and true. It could be a very funny video, but at 3 a.m. I'm like, what is going on? And I don't want to go through that. So yes, you need to put your limits on it, definitely.
Well,
are you one of them?
So,
three young cats.
So I have, I'm a gadget person, right? I'm a gadgety girl. I'm a gadget girl. I really am. I'm a gadget girl. So next to my bed, I have a special stand for my iPhone that it goes on and it charges, and my iWatch is right is right next to it, right? So that's its spot. So it is reachable, like immediately reachable. I used to bring my laptop to bed too, which is one of the things that got in the way with me working out, because I would roll over and immediately start working.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And so then when I get into work, I'm not getting up and going to the gym. So that's used to be one of the really bad things. I don't do that now that I've become more with the office. So now, with having my office, I actually now leave my stuff in the office, I have to admit. So if I bring something into my bedroom now, it's either because I've intentionally gone on the couch to change my atmosphere of working, and I want to go into creative mode, and I don't want to be in the office. I'm feeling too stiff in the office, or I want to watch a movie. So I've got better.
Hold up. You want to watch a movie and work?
Better. No, well, I'll watch a movie if I'm in a creative mode, and it's something like, because it'll be in the background noise and it will make me laugh. And then that just opens up more of my creativity. If I'm in a creative space like that, I got to create. I can do that. But I will watch like movies on I'll take my iPads with me to the bathroom and stuff. And especially if I'm in a writing mode. If I'm in a writing mode, then my iPad is with me, because I got stuff I got to download. So I have to admit, I'm gadgety. Now, what it has helped us, here's one of the positive things it's done for me. The positive thing it's done for me is, for instance, I have never been in braids or braided styles this long since childhood. Yeah, since childhood. Right? So my hair would normally be, it's out, it's pressed, it's straight, or it's weaved, or it's something going on. But had it not been for all the stuff that I'm seeing of so many other Black women now wearing their hair in twists, and you know what I mean, and they're out there with it, that gave me the confidence to say, oh, I can do that too, right? And I can hold it along. Now, I know it's so supposedly it's off brand, so to speak, but I like it and it's real easy. So I'm going to be off brand for a minute because this is really working for me, and I've done crazy things. Like, I was never a girl to put color in my hair. I have had all kinds of colors that I've put in, and I've done some crazy stuff. And I wouldn't have done that had I not seen more people like me doing it. So it it has done a great thing for me in that sense of, do you know what I mean? So for me, in that sense, it's been good. The filtering thing, if I'm going to take pictures, I'm putting makeup on. That's just me. But again, that comes back to childhood. I had really bad acne growing up, like really bad acne. So I'm always very conscious of the fact I have marks. And now I'm hit this point of life. I have way too much hair that just sprouts from nowhere. So, right, it is so much easier to have that stuff covered up. So I will go 2-3 shades darker. So it's like I'm looking at myself in the screen right now. And with the lighting I've got on, the makeup I put on today, I'm way darker. But you don't see the hair that way. Mm-hmm. So it works, right? Whereas if I was actually really shade matching, it would show a lot more because my hair is extremely dark. So I think for all of us, like Adriana says, there's just things that make you feel pretty and make you feel at your best. And whatever it is that makes you feel at your best, I think that's what you do because that's right for you. May not be right for somebody else, but that's right for you. And that makes you feel your best. And in feeling your best, you act your best, you give your best.
Well, and hearing what you said about the braids, that's how I feel about letting my gray grow in. Like, my mom she has offered to pay for me to get my hair colored. I've had people drop off hair color at my house.
Wait a minute.
I'm like, it's not, I didn't do this accidentally. Like, at first it was. At the beginning of the pandemic, I just didn't go. But then as it started going in, I'm like, oh, you guys, I actually kind of like it. Like, it has some, like, highlighty looking color.
Wait a minute, Leslie. People are dropping off.
It only happened once, but yes.
Okay, all right. But even that, come on now. Boundaries, people, boundaries.
But I've seen some women rocking their gray. And I'm like,
oh my God.
I want some gray. I don't gray. So I don't gray. Listen, I have highlights, but this, oh, if you can see, this is my hair. Or the darker color. My sisters, okay, what's really going on? Both of my sisters, are counting like, oh, that gray right there. My mother, God rest her soul, she never grayed.
Oh wow!
And I apparently got that thing, and I want to be a silver fox. So it's taking everything I had not to just go and say, this time I might go in there. Like the young girls are actually dyeing their hair.
Yes,
silver. They are rocking it.
They're using gray, yeah.
Yes. I've always so it was my prayer to be a salt and pepper. Like one of my grandmothers was salt and pepper all the way through.
That's silver fox, honey.
So, and I've always loved it. And I have streaks. My sister has like kind of patches, but now my sister's cut her hair really short. She's got the gray, like this gray all here, which looks really cute. And then the black at the rest. But it looks so cute on her. Right. So she's rocking it. I've always, when my hair was straight, I would let my gray show.
Okay, but here's my question about the gray. Why does it only come here and here first? It's just the weirdest thing. I'm like, but I cover up everything else with color, but you 3 strings right here that will not go away. I'm like, what is the problem? When I get a haircut, they're still there. So I'm trying to embrace the gray. However, it's definitely, I'm embracing it slowly but surely. But just to go back to the question, self-love with technology, I agree with a lot of what you all said, especially being comfortable on camera, being comfortable showing up as we are and who we are. With Leslie is so interesting because I had twists in my hair a couple weeks ago. Sorry about that. I had twisted my hair a couple weeks ago, and I was like, well, now I need to go recreate the video because I don't look that way anymore. And I'm like, no, but that's the versatility, the versatile that you have with your hair and the looks, and you show up dramatic one day and you show up as this, because I also cut my hair very short. So, just being okay with however I show up, but knowing and then having confidence that what I'm delivering is what I'm delivering for my clients. When I stand on stage and I speak, when I show up online, the value is the value. And I don't need to worry myself about what my hairstyle looks like. So, but technology has definitely allowed me, like Leslie said, embrace those things. And for me, the self-love, I get to wake up and listen to audiobooks that's going to nurture my mind and my heart. And so that has been amazing to be able to just find different audiobooks or different things on YouTube. And it just inspires me, it motivates me. And it can also help decrease whatever anxiety that I may be feeling around situations. I could just look anything up on YouTube or anything up on Pinterest and find a solution. And it helps me, whether it's in my personal life and cooking and decor. Like, it's amazing what we have with the power of technology in our hands. So that's what it's doing for me.
It's kind of like the Alexandra Library on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, but wait a minute. Let's talk about access again, because when you were saying it, it made me think about over this period, right? I was able to have access to some of the people that I admired and gurus that I would not have had access to because I wasn't the way my pocketbook is built, right? The way my boundaries over money are built, I would not have been able to have access to them because their prices were out of this world because they were very limited, right? But now that they can expand their reach, their prices have come down a bit, where it's something that is reasonable for me to spend money on. Right. So now it's like, oh, I can get this training. I can get that. I can touch and feel and as they say, get under the tutelage under the folks that I want to without thinking that's out of my reach, because now they've expanded theirs because of technology. That is my plus.
Yes.
Yes. I think there's also something that pops into my head is that I've heard people love a technology and hate a technology, like the same thing. And there's this phrase about a knife is just a knife. You can use it to cut a steak or stab someone, but it's still just a knife, right? And so I look at some of the things, and I can look at technologies that I've used to help myself and the same technologies that I feel like, oh, I'm kind of beating myself up with that. And so for me, it's anything that like gathers data, right? And you can look at your data, like sleep data. It really helped me. And then it really, then I would get tweaked out by it. Like, oh, this says I only got 42% sleep last night. I thought I was well rested, but this says I'm not. And so I would argue with myself, like the app. So sometimes it can be helpful, but if we put all our faith in it, that's kind of messed me up. So I think it just how we use the information that we have access to. Are we using it to be kind to ourselves or to like beat ourselves up when we didn't do things perfectly? That's in a lot of what everybody's saying, I think. Comparison, right? Access, like how much are we giving? And the thing that's hard is it's not a constant. It shifts and it flows. Like sometimes you want more access and sometimes you need to lock yourself away. And how do you do that when technology kind of makes it seem like you should always be the same, right? Oh, if you gave me this much access yesterday, you should give me that much access tomorrow. Well, no, because the days are different. So I need to be able to dial it back on days that's the right answer for me.
I just thought about that. I think that's the key. That's really powerful, Leslie. Are you using technology to be kind to yourself or not?
So can we ask our listeners to chime in on how has tech helped them, and are they using tech in a way that can be kind to themselves? So if you all can just share your thoughts on the topic that we're discussing so that we can see your comments in the feed.
Right. I would love it. And I was looking at the feed, I was like, you know what? I told you all that I record myself. We always talk about, you have to just yourself, talk. We already know what's talking in our head. And you hear your voice, at least you think you do. That's the voice you're hearing. And so I want to hear my voice, and I know it's my voice. So I record positive things. I know you're such a wonderful person, Stephanie. You are inspiring. You're this, the things that you usually saying to other people. I make sure I say it to myself, and I record it and on my phone. So that is how, and I listen to it every morning. And when that one gets old and I feel like I need to, and some other words, then I change it. So I have like, it's a whole, like a library of my voice providing and encouraging myself. You know how we have as a book that I bought off of one of the authors on Clubhouse. And the name of the book is Be Your Own Best Friend.
Yeah. I see. I encourage people to do that with affirmations because it's very, very powerful. Because if you can say all the affirmations about yourself to yourself and have it on recording, every time you play it back, it's still your energy that's attached to it, and it's still the vibration of your voice. So sometimes people get overwhelmed and, oh gosh, I can't say all of those. Well, just playing it still allows it to go. So you can be sleeping and still affirming over yourself with your own voice. It's extremely powerful. Very, very much so. I have many, many voice things of myself talking to myself, because then you remind yourself. It's a little bit like when we keep journals. One of the things I like to do for myself, when I was sharing this with Kay last week, is to say thank you to myself. Right? Thank you for being here, and thank you for doing this. Thank you for doing this. You didn't have to, but thank you for being willing to do this. And I will say thank you to myself and write myself thank you notes. And I've gone back and found some old journals. Sometimes you're cleaning up or something, and you're like, oh my gosh. And I'm looking at things I said to myself and things I said I wouldn't do, and then things I did, right? And where I said thank you to myself and where I appreciated myself. That's one of the reasons I picked it back up and started doing it, because I noticed it had been a trend. And I looked at where I was mentally at that point in my life, and I was mentally thriving. And I thought, interesting. So now I started doing it.
You know what I say, I don't record. I don't have that. And I actually stopped journaling, meaning I used to journal. Now I don't feel the need to do it. But there are two things that I say to myself very, very frequently. One is, oh, you're so pretty. And I do that sometimes when I'm putting on makeup, when I feel pretty. I don't say it just because. I say it because I like what I'm seeing in the mirror. And the other one is say, I love you. And fun enough, those started during a period of about 3 or 4 years where I had no relationship. I was not with anyone. Dating was not going great. Nobody was saying those words to me. And it just occurred to me one day, I just started saying, and I think at the beginning it was just, I really, really needed to hear the words. But if I was going to wait for somebody else to say them, God knows how long it was going to be. It ended up being about 4 years. And at the beginning, I felt sort of ashamed, especially with the I love you constantly, or it felt odd, or it felt like, am I just trying to say it to someone else? I think what I thought at that moment was, am I so desperate to be in a relationship that I'm starting to have imaginary boyfriends or something, and I'm starting to talk to them? But then I realized I was actually saying it to myself, because it was not what I wanted to say to another person. It was what I needed to hear at the moment. Mm-hmm. And then I just got used to it, and I do it all the time. And I also say those words to a lot of people, to everyone that I love, from my family, the person I'm in a relationship with. I constantly say it. But it also, it empowers me so much, and it makes me feel so good that it makes me kinder to everyone else, because I walk around like I'm being complimented all the time. And I am, because I'm complimenting myself all the time. So I have the walk and the stance of a person that is constantly hearing compliments. Mm-hmm. It's just, they're coming from where they are more important, which is from inside. And it's funny because I feel a little funny sharing it now, but I guess a year ago I would not dare to say this in public, and God knows how many people are going to hear it, because we are on a streaming service. So I don't know how many people are going to hear that I'm the crazy lady that says I love you to herself on the mirror all the time. But it just works. It makes me walk taller. It makes me feel better, and it makes me kinder to everyone else, because I just want to say it to everyone else.
Ma'am, if you were here in Maryland, There are 4 bathrooms in this house. In every one of the bathroom, there are yellow sticky notes with all kinds of just wonderful messages meant for whomever is looking in the mirror at themselves. And it may be just the message. I'm convinced that whatever, and I change them every now and again, that message for whoever sees it is for them.
Mhm.
And I will tell you, so you all know I am also an associate adjunct professor at our local university. And I kind of always did it like that was my thing. But I was so just elated when before COVID, I went to go use the restroom in a new location. I was going to do a hybrid class. In the bathroom, all over the mirrors and the stalls were little sticky notes in every color saying just the most magnificent things. Now, hear me loudly on this. When I was younger and in high school, and even maybe those early years, I wasn't the confident person that I am right now. I could have used those sticky notes. I wish somebody would have put a sticky note in the bathroom and tell me, listen, you're bigger than this. Don't worry about that. Whatever. It was like the message. It wasn't just one word. It was like a sentence. It was as if you can look anywhere. I'm talking in the stall, on the back of the stall door. So don't think those small things don't matter. As a matter of fact, the rule of thumb is this: you cannot be loved by anyone, and you cannot give love to anyone until you first love yourself. So whether it was intentional, whether you were manifesting, you knew the one thing that you needed, not necessarily from someone else, but you needed to love you first. And now that you're telling yourself, I love you. I tell myself that all the time. And when I'm feeling, like, be a little in a bad mood, I say, "Ooh, get yourself together. Get yourself together. You are better than this. This is not who you are." And the moment I say that, smile comes back. Boop, Stephanie comes back, because I know that I've spent too much time allowing other people to take me to a place that I didn't want to be. So now I'm in control, because you know the rule: if you get angry, the person that get angry loses.
Yeah. And it was something I was telling Leslie last week. I used to journal because there was a period in my life where I was looking for really my mom to tell me that she was proud of me. And I just spent a lot of months writing and telling myself how proud I was of myself, to rid myself of that need and that validation from my mother. And just, when that time comes and those words come, let's give that to ourselves, because obviously it's what we need at that moment. And it's the thing that can be the magnificent change in our lives to move forward, to step in our full potential. Right. And so I even shared it once on social media that I was writing this paragraph of how proud I am of myself, and just because of where I've come from and all the challenges that I've had to overcome, and where I am now today with my life and my career and my business. I had to stop and say, I'm proud of you.
Mm-hmm.
I love hearing that, because I have a 3 turning 4 next month year old daughter. And early on, someone said, be careful not to give her too much of the I'm proud of you, but teach her to be proud of herself.
I agree.
And so whenever she does something really good, I'm like, baby, are you so proud of yourself? Mm-hmm. And I've noticed sometimes she'll walk by the mirror and be like, you look so pretty today, to herself, right? Or I'm so smart. Or we went to the dentist and she had a little cavity, and so they had to seal it, and it tasted terrible, and she cried, but then she finished up and she was like, you know what? I'm so brave. And so I'm really working hard, because I know I went through a whole period where I didn't think I was any of those things. So I'm like, what if I can instill that in her to have positive self-talk, that she doesn't need as much external validation. She already just internally knows. And just like you were saying, Adriana, it's what will her stance be if that's how she starts, I know I went through a period of time where I felt very judged. And then I realized I was super judgy about other people. I was picking people apart. I'd walk by a woman and be like, ooh, that outfit's ugly, or ooh, that's a terrible haircut. But what was happening was I was doing that same thing to myself. And so even though I wasn't saying any of it out loud to people, it was hurting me bad. And so I challenged myself to every time I left the house, I have to compliment 10 people just in my head. I don't have to say it out loud. And so I started doing it, and I started noticing, like, as I did it more and more, A, it got easier. B, I started to see things more positively. It felt so good. I'd be like, 10 wasn't enough. I need 20 or 30 today. And then I'd start saying it out loud, and then the world around me changed, right? Because I wasn't just seeing it with positive eyes, but it was like coming out my mouth. And then I was starting to like stop beating myself up. I was more complimentary to like, oh, girl, you look good in those jeans today, or you worked hard yesterday, or you're so smart. Like all the things I see my daughter saying now. But I was 30 when I figured that out. Like, so God bless her. She's 3. Hopefully she keeps that.
That's amazing. You guys have you've given me some stuff to go, some homework now to go do myself some more growth work. Because that's not something I've ever told myself. I've never told myself I'm proud of myself, and I've never told myself I love myself. Never ever said that. And so now I'm going to have to run the experiment. Right. Mm-hmm. And see because I say affirmations to myself. I do, but I've never said those words. And those words are very powerful. And when somebody says it to me, it does mean a lot. Right. So those words are really strong, meaningful words to me. But I've never thought about saying it to myself. And, I'm wondering, Leslie, with you being a mom later on in life, you've got so many lessons now that you can do with your princess that when we're in our 20s and a lot of times 30s, you haven't got a clue about doing that. Yeah. Because we haven't yet grown in ourselves even at that point to that kind of strength to know to give that strength on. So I hope you're going to write some little books about that stuff.
I actually have a little Instagram thing that I've been doing where I post a picture of something that she did that just warmed my heart. And then I write a note to her, dear daughter, this is what I see, or this is what I want for you. Just really short. And they get such a positive response. Literally every time I publish one, someone's like, is this a book? Can I buy a book? And I'm like, not yet.
Wait a minute. How many times?
Great because
times did you hear it before you write that book, Leslie?
Yeah. Well, actually, you're already creating the content, so all you have to do eventually is put it together because the content already exists. And just making it each one of those posts as a little chapter, that's enough. It can be a beautiful calendar. And
you know what? So this ties perfectly into the question of using technology to be kind to yourself. So I used to put if one person said you should write this as a book, all of a sudden it was pressure. I haven't done it yet. I need to fix it. I should be more consistent. Why haven't I gotten 50 of these? And so now I have to reel myself in, and I have to go, yes, I do want this to be a book because I think it would be powerful. But if I am able to put out one every couple of days, or maybe there's 2 weeks in between, I'm still making progress. And maybe when I hit 50 is the time that I'm now I'm ready. And so I think I'm up to 22. But it being kind with my own natural pace is something that has been, it was hard at first because of technology, but now I just take those comments every time it's just an affirmation. This is still something people see as a book. Yes. So I'm on the right track.
Yes.
I will get there when I get there. Right. But that's the direction I'm moving.
Do you have a newsletter? Do you have a newsletter? I feel like I would follow you if I was I would follow you anyway, but I feel that if I was a young mother, and because it's tough.
Yeah,
it's really tough. You're an older mother. Of course, I told you I was 17, right? So come on, I was a baby with a baby. That's what everyone reminds me of. That nobody was proud to see me walk by with a baby. The shame that there was, the shame, not now, but even now. Folks, they see me with my sons, all of them. I'm tall. They're all taller than me, right? And I remember when my oldest son was himself 16, and he worked in the local. He was in the local grocery store, and he was bagging, right? Mm-hmm. And I came through the line, and now you see, as my mom say, my voice is heavy. My son has a very deep voice, right? And his voice was always like that, even when he was in high school. And he was Mom, do you have any money? I'd like to, to get something to eat. And they were looking like, folks looked at me, and I mean, literally, they were like, so is he like your son's son, or is this like the fake mom thing? And I was like, no, I carried him for 9 months, no charge.
No sugar mama. mama.
No. This is my son. They were like, wow, you look great. And I was like, thank you. I had to learn to say that because I used to explain every time. Yeah. Oh, well, actually, I was right. Now I just say, thank you.
I feel like I'll be at the opposite end because, first of all, when you're pregnant after 35, they call you a mature mom or
geriatric, yes, which is a terrible term.
Geriatric, that's right.
Geriatric.
They do not call you geriatric.
Do not say that.
And doctors call the pregnancies that. Yes.
I like, seriously, you're gonna like throw that on me. And then with the gray hair, I'm waiting for the first time someone's like, are you her grandma? I'm just waiting for it. And nope, just started late. Thanks for
but I do think you'd be helpful. I do think your book, or newsletter would be very helpful because I wish what you just said about how you deal with your daughter. I've had that because I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, listen, the books that I was trying to read, they didn't seem to be they weren't my story.
Right.
So there was no book for what did the teenage mom do? Right. What does a teenage mom that lived with her mom that she herself did not finish? I mean, the mom that did not, the mom that can't give you any advice because she's kind of in a shameful place. And she also was a teenage mom and she has her own backstory that you don't learn because, about till you get grown. I mean, I didn't know. I was trying to figure out when my brother came along. I didn't know that my mom had experienced trauma and as a result, at 14 was pregnant. Didn't know it until I was grown. Like I'm talking in my 30s. Mm-hmm. So she didn't know how to help me. Right? She hadn't found her words. She hadn't found her place. She wasn't comfortable to tell me her story. She wasn't comfortable to tell me I think it hurt her because she couldn't save me because in her mind, that was me failing. Mm. So she couldn't help me to not take her journey. I'm talking, she cried like, oh gosh. She was as sweet as an angel, but she just didn't have the words. Yeah. When I think back on it, I'm like, Mom, it would have been great to say, listen, I know you think the world is ending. Mm-hmm. I know you think blah, 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 but let me tell you a story. Mm-hmm. And then tell me this does not stop here. And ask me, what do I want to do? Ask me how I feel about it. Right. And then if any other adult or anybody makes me feel less than the princess that I wanted to feel like, I need you to stand up and in front of God and everybody, tell them that I know you can't be talking about my princess because she's, make me feel fabulous and teach me how to do it. She wasn't able to do that. That wasn't, and I'm sure it's because maybe she didn't experience it either. I can only imagine there's a whole lot more of them, right? And it's a different time in the world.
And I will say that's one thing, at least in this era, this day and age of technology, a lot of my support was online, finding mom groups that were aligned to so I'm in a military women's mom group. So okay, other military women think like I think. I want to be hardcore, but not too hardcore. Like, how do you handle problems? I'm in a local moms group. Hey, what preschool are you using? What stores are you shopping at to get these products that you like? So finding technology can be such a great support network. And during the first year of my daughter's life, I leaned on it heavy. Mama, help me out. Who knows something about this? Or and a lot of times the answer comes back, it's okay, you're normal. Or hey, if she cries all night, she could just be teething. Okay, so she's not sick. So a lot of times we put ourselves in these stressful situations, and if we could just reach out to the right group and ask, you would know, hey, it's hard for all of us.
You're not alone.
Yeah. I think those are the most important words I ever hear is you're not alone. You're okay.
So in wrapping us, as I see the time, there we went into different areas that were really, really powerful. And obviously we didn't intend, but we hit there. So somebody needed to hear that.
Mm.
So I'm going to come at all of you with a question, right, based off some of the things you said today in the show. So I'm going to come at UK and
Mhm.
say, for all the girls who never heard, I'm proud of you.
Mm.
And don't feel that they ever will do something that somebody would be proud of. What is the encouraging word you can give to them?
Oh wow, that's a big question. Um, I would say to definitely write down all of your accomplishments, whether big or small. Write them down, and every time you write it down, tell yourself at the end of that sentence, "I'm proud of you."
Mm.
It's that simple, because sometimes we want to look at the big things to be proud of, but it's those little things that help us get to where we are and where we want to go. So that will be my tip, is to make a list of all of the things. If you got a B and you knew that you really didn't study well, but you earned a B, yeah, you may have wanted an A. Tell yourself, I'm proud, and next time I'll study a little bit harder, right? It's those little things, that we take for granted. And it just became a period in my life where there was the commotion between my mom and I, because when I was younger, she was there. But when I decided to do things my way, and as I became a teenager and not, being rebellious, that's when the transition changed. And being on my own from the age of 16, I didn't have that covenant and those words. I was being an adult at a young age. And so going through all of that for years, I then had to say, I am so freaking proud of you. And I would hear it from my friends. And one day, one of my best friends said, "You know what? I am so proud of you." And I broke down in tears, literally, because I'm like, wow, and that was during my journaling process. So that will be my tip. And I'm done.
Okay. And Stephanie, to those young girls out there who find themselves now pregnant and there is no support, and especially, those who get kicked out even, right, you know what I mean?
Yes.
What would you say to those young girls who have found themselves now, they're about to have a baby?
Right. So first, I'm going to tell them, you are not alone. You are not alone. Your baby is going to change your life. You're going to have your baby alone is going to love you more than you can ever love yourself. Everything that you wanted to be, you dreamed to be, or that you thought you might want to be before you got pregnant, you can still be plus some. From this moment forward, decide that you are going to be all those things and everything that someone tells you that you can't be. Show your baby, show the world, and particularly show yourself, because you do deserve it. But show them that your world didn't stop, that your dreams didn't stop or end, because you're bringing life into the world. The world loves you, but love yourself more. And always smile, and let no one or nothing steal your joy, because only you can give it away. It's a choice. Choose you always.
And Leslie, to those ladies who are feeling frightened about, having a baby at a later point in life, what would you say to them?
Leslie,
You're
unmute
muted.
yourself.
Unmute.
Sorry, I was trying not to be echoey. And then I was so echoey, I was nothing. That's fine. I said all the good stuff. Sorry, guys, I used it up. No, just kidding. I would say you're gonna do great. You've overcome every single obstacle that's ever been put in front of you. And I know that's true, because if you hadn't, you wouldn't be hearing these words right now. So you've literally overcome everything that's ever been put in front of you, no matter what people thought of you, no matter what doubts you had about yourself. And this will be no different because you have years of experience of overcoming things. And here you are, and you're going to be awesome.
Lovely, lovely. And Adriana, to all those women out there who have never told themselves, I love you, to themselves, and told themselves that they are beautiful, what would you say to them?
I would say, imagine everything you ever wanted somebody else, a lover, a mother, whomever you wanted. Imagine what you wanted to hear from them. Exactly the words. Imagine the beautiful moment where the person is saying it to you, and then just do it yourself. And just say those exact words. Just imagine it like if it was a movie. And it's okay if you imagine another person doing it, but just imagine it like a beautiful movie and you're the protagonist of that movie, and just say it, and then just do it over and over again and feel that beautiful, like the star of that movie. And in no time, you will be feeling it if you just keep repeating it.
Well, there you've heard it.
Wait, Lizzy, I got one for you.
Go ahead.
What about all those women out there who want to find a tribe like this and are like, I don't know how it's going to happen. Maybe I'm not good enough to get that tribe going.
Oh, wow. I would say begin to see your tribe. To all those women out there who are looking for great women to link with because you haven't had the best experience so far, right? Begin to see those conversations. See yourself sitting down and laughing with women and being able to be yourself and them being themselves back at you, where it's comfortable and it's safe. Start imagining those conversations until you start to hear the voices of those women, right? And you hear the laughs, the squeaks, right? You hear the tones. Before you know it, they will manifest in your life. But you've got to begin to spend that time with those women you have not yet met. So go into your lab of imagination and spend time with your new tribe and watch them emerge. And every time you spend time with them, make sure you say, I'm so grateful I have a fabulous tribe of women I can link with. And on that note, I want to make sure, I'll come back to you, to tell you that we have a private Facebook group. Now, the reason it is private is because we want it to be a safe space. Mm-hmm. So we will be putting up a link. So you go to a landing page, right? And it will show on the landing page the rules of our things to keep everybody safe. Because we want people to be able to come in and share their hearts. So if they're feeling vulnerable or if they're feeling they need somebody to be there for them, the LinK Facebook group will be that safe space. So we're creating a safe space where women can come and link safely with other women. So sorry, guys. It's a girl thing only. It's girls only, right? But we will be putting up that page, and you will have to say that you agree to these particular terms of behavior when you come into this space, and acknowledge that it is a space in which we've created for people to be able to be safe and women to come and begin to find their tribe. Adriana.
I was going to say to those women who are looking for their tribe, send the message, the Facebook message, the Instagram message, the comment on our show. Send the message. Don't be afraid of sending it, because somebody will hear you and will catch up with you.
Absolutely. So ladies out there watching us, you are heard, you are seen, and you are beautiful. And the best of you is waiting on the other side of tomorrow. So take care, and we will see you next week, Tuesday at the same time. We will be here linking together to help you know you can link too. Bye.
Bye.